I was reborn into the 5th year of my marriage, precisely when Lu Ziqing claimed to have lost his memory. I only remember loving your sister, Sue, he deeply. He clutched his head, his expression pained. Our son tugged at my hand. Mom, don't blame Dad. He just wants to take care of Annie. She's such a good person. You wouldn't want to leave her alone either, right? The system popped up just as it had in my previous life. Host, memory loss is no big deal. You succeeded last time. You can do it again. Just reseduce the devoted second male lead and bond with your son. I lit a slender woman's cigarette with practiced ease, flipped over the family portrait face down, and glanced at the photo of the Yandra villain on my phone. System, I said coolly, if I recall correctly, we can switch targets. Can't we? Huh? The system froze. You've had one free target change opportunity and used since the beginning. But why switch now? Lu Ziqing just has amnesia. Besides, you two have a son together. If you change targets now, what about Lu Zai? No, absolutely not. I veto this. Amnesia. In my past life, I'd fallen for Lu Ziqing's lies, exhausting every method to restore his memories and make him love me again. Yet all I witnessed was his bond with Sue he deepening by the day. I'm sorry. Perhaps we shared beautiful memories, but I remember none of it. My heart belongs only to Suhi now. No matter how hard I tried, his feelings for me never progressed beyond polite remorse for a stranger. He even wanted to negotiate a divorce with me, and our son Lu Zai was the spitting image of a miniature Lu Ziqing. When I was tormented by my inability to recover Lu Ziqing's memories, when I stubbornly clung to saving this marriage, he resolutely took his father's side. Mom, you always taught me to help others. Why do you get angry when Dad helps Annie? You're being so selfish and hateful like this. Even my parents came to persuade me. Why put yourself through this? Ziqing loves your sister now. He can't remember you anymore. Why stubbornly refuse to divorce? Anyway, Zai likes your sister too. Even if you divorce Ziqing, we'll still be one family. Later, they began accusing me. Your sister's divorced now. How pitiful. How can you not feel for her? She and Ziqing are truly in love. It's only because you won't divorce that she has to bear the stigma of being the other woman. She's your sister. How can you be so selfish? Eventually, I fell ill from prolonged depression. While at the hospital, I saw Lu Ziqing supporting Suhi. Suhi wept softly against his chest. Ziqing, why don't you just tell Sue Ran you were faking amnesia? After a pause, he replied, we were married for 5 years. I'm afraid that would hurt her too much. But she kept delaying the divorce. How could I face anyone with this swollen belly? How could the child face the world when born? Sue, he sobbed uncontrollably. So Lu Ziqing had never lost his memory after all. The so-called amnesia was just his excuse for cheating with Suhi. And I, like a fool, believed he loved me, still clinging to hope he'd recover those lost memories. That night, I returned alone to the hollow apartment and burned with fever. I called Lu Ziqing, Lu Zai, my parents. Not a single soul answered. They were all celebrating Suhi's birthday. Festive photos flooded the group chat one after another. Raising my trembling hand, I typed into the chat, I'm dying. The chat fell deathly silent. Then Suhi's call came through. Ran, are you skipping my birthday party on purpose? Do you really hate me that much? Her voice quivered with fake tears. Let her be. Who does she think she is? My father's voice crackled through the receiver. Dying? Pathetic drama queen. My mother chimed in. Auntie, Ani, forget Mom. It's midnight. Come blow the candles. Lu Zai's shrill voice pierced through. Laughter and cheers erupted on the other end. As my phone slid from numb fingers, a mechanical voice was the last thing I heard. Host's extra chapter strategy failed. Final outcome. Mission failed. However, due to mid-game marriage achievement and valid points redemption, you've earned one rebirth opportunity with original system. Initializing countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2. So this was the extra chapter all along. Now, I understand why the system remained silent when I said I do to staying during our wedding. Turns out I never succeeded in my mission, nor escaped the story's predetermined fate. In this extra chapter, the female lead divorced the original male lead. ultimately ending up with the devoted second male lead who'd married her but never stopped loving her. While I'm just the villainess of this side story, a stumbling block for their romance, the catalyst for their happily ever after. Someone who could die without anyone noticing. Just then, Lu Ziqing and Lu Zai returned. Upon seeing me, the boy immediately shielded his father. Mom, don't start dragging Dad into those old stories again today. He's exhausted, Lu Zai said urgently. Exhausted indeed. Sue, he had finalized her divorce today. He'd taken their son to help her move out. The realization made me burst into laughter. Lu Ziqing's brow furrowed slightly. Sue ran. What's so funny? His gaze lingered on the cigarette between my fingers. After all, the original me never smoked. You know what, Lu Ziqing? I crossed my legs, exhaling a lazy smoke ring. When I used to read novels, I always rooted hardest for the devoted second male lead. Looking back now, that so-called devoted second male lead was just a simp all along. I pointed at him, then at Lu Zai. Who would have thought the son born to a simp would also be a simp? Turns out this crap is hereditary. What kind of dog? Lu Zai froze. Mom, what are you saying? How can you call your own son a dog? Sue ran. Don't act like this just because I helped Suhi today, Lu Ziqing said impatiently. How can you be jealous of your own sister? Besides, after spending every day helping you recover memories, I deserve one day off. No need anymore, I said. What? I stubbed my cigarette in a glass of water and slid the divorce agreement across the table to him. I've figured it out. Lost memories are just lost. No big deal. I've already drafted the divorce papers. I've even lined up my next partner recently. Let's do each other a favor and end this. What did you say? Lu Ziqing froze. Host, calm down. You can't handle Shen Juanheng. That Yandra villain. He's pure evil. You can't switch targets now. Exactly. I smiled at the system. I want someone truly wicked. After all, who else is going to help this scheming supporting character take down both the Lu and Su families? You, Lu Ziqing said incredulously. Have someone else? He stared at me blankly, the words tumbling out. How is that possible? Of course, to Lu Ziqing, this was utterly impossible. Lu Ziqing was Suhi's simp. So wasn't the old me just Lu Ziqing's simp in turn? I prioritized him in everything, keeping him company during his lows, tending to him when he was unwell, even going sleepless for days to replace his ice packs when he had a fever. Su ran. Stop this nonsense. Lu Ziqing tossed the divorce agreement onto the table, his face dark. I've told you, I've lost my memory, whether you're faking a divorce or inventing some next partner to make me jealous. Right now, I don't feel even a shred of. Lu Corporation grew through our joint efforts after marriage. I want 30% equity. I won't take the child. I walked expressionlessly to the door. Just sign, and we'll head to the Civil Affairs Bureau immediately. He froze again. What's divorce? Is Auntie gonna be my mom now? Lu Zai asked blankly, ignoring both father and son. I opened the door and left. Host, what are you doing? Lu Ziqing just lost his memory. He still has feelings for you. You're hurting him like this. The system prattled incessantly in my ear. Hey system, should I put on makeup before visiting the Shen group? Huh? Where are you? No, you absolutely cannot go meet that Yandra villain. You'll regret it to death. BZ. I spent 20 points to mute the system. Too noisy. I went to buy a new outfit and changed into it, then headed to the makeup room for a glamorous touch-up. Madam looks stunning today. Is it a special anniversary with your husband? The makeup artist who recognized me asked sweetly. Preparing to have an affair, I replied, satisfied as I touched the pearl earrings I designed myself. Ha! Madam has quite the sense of humor. After some thought, I didn't take my own car and instead hailed a taxi to the Shen Corporation building. May I ask who you're here to see? Do you have an appointment? The receptionist inquired. Please inform President Shen. I smiled. That Sue ran from Lu Corporation is here to deliver him a grand gift. Shen Corporation CEO's office. President Shen's office is quite spacious, if a bit empty, I remarked, sitting on the sofa and glancing around. Madam Lu, my time is rather precious, Shen Juanheng said from behind his desk. legs crossed, his expression dark. I know. Aren't you busy competing with Lu Corporation? I smiled. What if I said I'm willing to defect to your side? Would President Shen take me in? He froze for a moment, then suddenly laughed. I'd long heard Madame Lu was deeply devoted to her husband. Who'd have thought you'd offer yourself as bait to infiltrate Shen Corporation for Lu's sake? He stood and approached, planting his hands on either side of me, his gaze dangerous. Aren't you afraid of walking alone into the wolf's den, only to be devoured without a trace? We locked eyes in silence for a long moment. Then I burst out laughing. Not afraid. President Shen, since you know I'm the type who'd do anything for my husband, why not marry me? After all, you're aware that a love-struck fool like me would sacrifice everything for the right person. Besides, that design team I lead is rather exceptional. He remained silent, but I could tell he was tempted, not by me, by the resources I controlled. Truth be told, Shin Juanheng and I went way back. The Shin group under his command was Lu Ziqing's business rival, having caused the Lu Corporation countless headaches in the corporate arena. In my original world, I'd been a moderately successful designer. When the Lu Corporation was pushed to the brink of collapse by Shin Juanheng's schemes, it was my jewelry designs that generated their first lifeline of capital. Over the years, the Lu and Shun conglomerates had clashed repeatedly, with victories traded on both sides. And Shen Juanheng happened to be the person Lu Ziqing despised most. After a long pause, he straightened up. Mrs. Lu is indeed quite charming, but married women hold no appeal for me. What if I divorce Lu Ziqing? I rose, stepping closer to gaze up at him. He blinked in surprise. That would change matters entirely, he said with a smirk. But Mrs. Lu should understand. I tolerate no traitors. He reached out, tilting my chin up. While marriage is indeed a binding contract, if you wish to wed me, you'll need to demonstrate considerable sincerity. 30% of Lu Corporation's equity, and my design team. I'll bring them all as my dowry. I smiled. President Shun, can you handle this? Shin Juanheng agreed to my terms. In the following days, I simply moved out and began preparing for post-divorce arrangements in advance. Neither Lu Ziqing nor Lu Zai contacted me. They were probably too busy being wrapped around Su He's finger. That day, I returned home to retrieve a forgotten design draft. But the moment I opened the door, I was met with quite the spectacle. Lu Zai was sniffling pitifully in Su He's arms. My parents wore thunderous expressions, and Lu Ziqing's face was stormy. How dare you show your face here? My mother launched into a tirade the second she saw me, running wild who knows where. Neglecting your child and husband, what kind of daughter did I raise? If not for Su, he's stepping in to care for Zai. We'd never have known he was being bullied at kindergarten. What kind of mother sides against her own child? I frowned. Su, he immediately approached. Her voice honeyed. Ran, I don't mean to criticize, but making Zai apologize first after being bullied? Imagine the psychological scars. Really now? Why shouldn't he apologize when he's wrong? He called that child trash and their parents worthless. The kid only hit back after being provoked. And, might I add, Zai came out on top. He's the one who broke the other boy's nasal bone. How is this not taking advantage? Su He's voice remained gentle. I've been picking him up these days, and he's been sulking. But it doesn't matter. I already paid that family, and they immediately made their child apologize to Zai. What? I froze. Don't you think that's terribly unfair to that child? He was clearly the victim. Just because his parents took money, he has to apologize? He should be apologizing to me. Mom, you're so biased. You're awful. You're not my mom. I want a new mom. Lu Zai rushed at me, fists raised. But Sui pulled him back. See? You've upset him. Sui crouched down, wiping away the two forced tears on Lu Zai's face. I was speechless. Do you really think this is good for his upbringing? Enough. We all agree with He's approach. My father stepped forward, his voice grave. You grew up away from us. We failed to discipline you properly, and now you've become an irresponsible wife and mother. If you can't raise him right, let He take over. Frankly, she's far more competent than you. I laughed in sheer disbelief. Couldn't wait to say it. Could you? I turned to Lu Zicheng. And you? Do you agree with this too? It's over. He stood up. Let it go. Hurry up and cook. Dad works hard all day. How can you just laze around at home? We're starving. Lu, I screeched again. Forget it. I took a deep breath. Lu Zicheng, have you signed the divorce agreement yet? Agreement? What agreement? Suhi seemed unaware of the matter, but her eyes darted shrewdly before she hurried to the desk and picked up the divorce papers. Ran, you're divorcing him? And demanding 30% of Lu Corporation shares? Her dewy eyes widened. Don't you think that's utterly excessive? How could you be so greedy? Excessive? Greedy? I met her gaze. When Lu Zicheng married me, Lu Corporation was nearly bankrupt. It was my jewelry designs that revived the company, and I assembled the current design team. Why don't I deserve these 30% shares? But you withdrew from management after giving birth to Zai. Lu Corporation's current success was built entirely on Zicheng's tireless efforts. How dare you shamelessly claim credit? Never home, demanding divorce, extorting money from your husband's family. The Su family is thoroughly disgraced to have a daughter like you. My father added furiously. You've never seen my sacrifices these years. What right do you have to say I'm undeserving? Who says I abandoned the company? As a designer, I drank at every business banquet alongside Lu Zicheng, glass for glass. Never less than him. I finally roared. Enough. Lu Zicheng suddenly bellowed. The room fell silent. Su ran. 30% is indeed excessive, he said coolly. I absolutely cannot agree. I suddenly began to laugh. You people are utterly disgusting. I turned around, grabbed the design drafts, slammed the door, and left. I never wanted to lay eyes on anyone in that room again. It was raining outside, and I had no umbrella. See? I told you not to make a scene. How are you going to fix this now? Getting Lu Zicheng to forgive you will be impossible. The system nagged incessantly. Just shut up for a while. I found an empty spot and crouched down. Rainwater trickled down my hair as I hugged my knees, feeling chilled to the bone. Though this was just a conquest world, I genuinely treated everyone here with sincerity, considered them family in my heart, even though I'd long known I'd fallen for a scumbag. Right now, I still felt cheapened by all those years I'd wasted. Seems Mrs. Lu's divorce isn't going smoothly. Suddenly, an umbrella appeared over my head. I looked up. It was Shun Juanheng. He stood there holding the umbrella, gazing down at me. Sorry, I can't get you that 30% equity. I gave a self-deprecating laugh. Just forget everything I said earlier. President Shun. He paused, then abruptly crouched to my level. Truth is, I think I'm starting to find Su ran the person. Mildly intriguing. Care to change the game? HM? I don't want that 30% anymore. He pulled out tissues and began drying the rainwater from my hair. Marry me, and together we'll bankrupt the Lu Corporation. Host, don't act rashly. Wait. Bang. I flung open the door to Lu Zicheng's CEO office. Divorce. I slammed the new divorce agreement in front of Lu Zicheng. He frowned. I don't want the equity. I'll leave with nothing. Can you sign now? What madness is this now? He pinched his forehead. I told you, I've already found my next partner. I'm in a hurry to marry, so we need to divorce immediately. Suddenly, he smiled, leisurely pulling out a stack of papers from his drawer. Su ran. Your car's dashcam shows you haven't been home these days. Just your pre-marriage apartment. Your movements are painfully simple. So simple, it's like you've nowhere else to go. He closed the file, his gaze unwavering. There is no next partner. All this drama is just your way of getting my attention through divorce. It struck me then how utterly helpless the inventor of the phrase, casting pearls before swine must have felt. I sat down, lit a women's cigarette, and called Suhi. After her divorce, Lu Zicheng had arranged for her to work at Lu Corporation. Why summon her? Just for a chat. True to form, Suhi arrived promptly. Ran. What are you doing? Zicheng is exhausted from work. Last time you already upset the whole family. This is a company. You can't just act wild like this. Shut your mouth and just listen. I cut her off. I turned to Lu Zicheng, flicked my cigarette ash, and smiled at him. Now that everyone's here, go ahead. Say it. You can't bear to let me go. Can you? What? He froze. You keep saying you've forgotten me, that you only remember Suhi. But the moment I ask for a divorce, you refuse. Doesn't that mean you still care? You don't actually love Suhi that much, do you? Or is the amnesia just an act? Maybe you remember everything between us, and that's why you won't sign the papers. Am I right? I glanced at Suhi. What now? I had no idea he loved me this much. Enough. Lu Zicheng snapped abruptly. Zicheng, Suhi's doe eyes instantly welled up as she looked at him. His expression darkened completely. After a long pause, he clenched his fists and spoke. Suran, I only pitied you. I thought that since we were once married, and you had nowhere else to go, I shouldn't sign. I haven't remembered you. I don't miss you. To me, you're just a stranger. So you're that desperate for a divorce? Fine, I'll grant your wish. With a furious flourish, he signed his name on the agreement as if to spite me. But don't you dare regret this. Fearing Lu Zicheng might change his mind, I dragged him straight to the Civil Affairs Bureau the moment we signed the papers. Don't be late when we collect the divorce certificate next month. He shot me an icy glare before walking away. What on earth is he so angry about? Wasn't he the one who desperately wanted this divorce in our past life? Watching his retreating figure, I was utterly baffled. What past life? The system asked, confused. Ah, right. This system doesn't retain memories from before. A few days later, Shin Jiunheng called, directing me to a location. When I arrived, it turned out to be a bridal shop. Good afternoon, Miss Su. Mr. Shin specifically requested we assist you in trying on any gown you fancy. During my wedding with Lu Zicheng, I'd worn a chapel train wedding dress. His preference, just to please him, but truthfully, I've always loved mermaid dresses more. This time, I'd choose my own happiness. I spent the afternoon trying on gowns, snapped a few photos, and sent them to Shin Jiunheng. You prefer mermaid dresses? He replied almost instantly. They suit you perfectly. Just then, my phone rang abruptly. Assuming it was Shin Jiunheng, I answered without checking. Zai has a fever. Come home immediately. Lu Zicheng's voice commanded. I drew a deep breath, forcing composure. We're divorced now. Lu, Zai is your responsibility. You're his father. Can't you at least look after him? Ran, a mother and child share one heart. How can you say something so cold when he's suffering like this? It was Suhi. She's there. Well, that settles it then. I can't go. I force myself to stay patient. Sister, don't you love Zai the most? Then, let me tell you, when he's sick, he needs you to hold him constantly. Sing lullabies to him all night like he's an infant, and take his temperature every half hour. By the way, he struggles terribly with taking medicine. He'll deliberately spit it everywhere. But don't worry, just prepare the dose a few extra times and give him a couple more baths. It'll be fine. I have no experience with this. Why are you telling me all this? You're her mother. Of course you should come back and take care of him. Z, don't throw up on Auntie. Sue, my voice turned icy. What do you think raising a child is? Is it just you, all prim and proper, sneaking him candy, indulging him, spoiling him, listening to his sweet little I like yous? Is that it? No, raising a child means sleepless night after sleepless night, means caring for them over and over again, means endless repetition, means being so busy you can't even find time to use the bathroom, eat a meal, or even sleep. Didn't you say you wanted to be Lu Zai's mother? Then you must fulfill all these duties. Suran, can't you see how distressed the child is? He's been crying for his mother nonstop. Must you really nitpick over such trivial matters now? Lu Zicheng's voice bristled with anger. I told you I'm busy. What exactly are you so busy with? Miss Su, we'll need to take in the waist a bit more on this wedding gown, correct? The shop assistant approached, smiling as she asked me. The other end of the line went completely silent. You, what are you doing? Lu Zicheng's voice carried unmistakable disbelief. I enunciated each word clearly for him. I'm trying on wedding dresses. In the following days, Lu Zicheng never called me again. Shin Jiunheng and I divided our time between wedding preparations and collaborating on Shin Jewelry's next design and marketing strategy. Returning to the workplace exhilarated me. Frequent late-night brainstorming sessions with Shin Ji-hung became routine as fresh ideas kept surfacing. A month later, Liu Zicheng and I met at the Civil Affairs Bureau for our divorce certificate. You've really found someone else. He stared at me outside the bureau. That's right. Don't you feel any guilt for betraying our marriage? He suddenly demanded. I couldn't help but laugh. Not at all. After all, you don't remember anything except Soo-hee. I shrugged. Since you've forgotten everything, there's no point in being the only one who remembers. Might as well both move on. Actually, Zicheng, Sue, he came trotting over in a floral sundress, affectionately linking arms with Liu Zicheng. Finished yet? Zai and I are waiting for you to come home for dinner. Not yet. Hurry up. I took the lead and stepped into the Civil Affairs Bureau. Have you both thought this through? The clerk asked. Yes, I said, but Liu Zicheng remained silent. Sir? Sue ran. He suddenly turned back. Are you really sure about this? Once we get this certificate, there'll be nothing left between us. I sighed. Liu Zicheng, could you stop dragging this out? Soo-hee's waiting for you outside. For heaven's sake. I just want to know, he continued stubbornly, how you can discard 5 years of marriage so easily. Did it mean nothing to you? We even have a child. Are Zai and I truly so unworthy of your affection? I gazed quietly at this man I'd once loved for so many years. In my past life, I'd refused to divorce, and he despised me for clinging. Now that I initiated the divorce, he resented my detachment. Do protagonists always get to claim the moral high ground? No, those 5 years were precious to me. His head jerked up, something like hope flashing in his eyes. After all, they taught me a valuable lesson. Simps never prosper. I patted his shoulder with grave wisdom. Let this be a lesson to us both. Liu Zicheng's expression remained stormy throughout the entire divorce process. Finally done? Took so long. Was the queue terrible? Soo-hee asked, looping her arm through his. Manageable. Just then, Liu Zicheng's phone rang. He answered, and his face drained of color. Sue ran. He seized my wrist abruptly. You made the entire design team resign? That's right. Why? Why so tense? Director Liu? I smiled. Didn't you build Liu Corporation from the ground up? What's one design team to you? After all our years together, how could you burn bridges like this? Zicheng, don't upset yourself. I study design too. It's just a team. I'll help you assemble another. Soo-hee soothed, patting his arm. Yet he shook her off. Sue ran. Was this deliberate? The autumn collection launch is weeks away. And you? Such noise. Hardly consequential. Ignoring him, I turned toward the roadside. Here, over here. I waved at the approaching figure. Shen Ji-hung. This way. A Bugatti pulled up before me. Shen Ji-hung stepped out, sunglasses glinting. All settled? Liu Zicheng paled. Shen Ji-hung? Why are you? Shen Ji-hung glanced at him. Collecting my fiancé. Fiancé? He gaped at me. Her? Shen Ji-hung pulled me into his embrace. President Liu, you may address her as Mrs. Shun from now on. You. Sue ran. How could you? Seized by rage, he suddenly broke into violent coughing. Soo-hee rushed to support him, patting his back to ease his breathing. After exchanging a glance with Shen Ji-hung, we stepped into the Bugatti. They seemed thoroughly provoked. Was it about the design team's resignation? I nodded. There's one more thing. When he finds out, he'll probably cough up blood. What thing? I sighed. Before leaving, I had the design team pour water until they drowned his favorite money tree by the entrance. News of Shen Ji-hung's and my impending marriage spread quickly. Unexpectedly, the Su family parents reacted most vehemently. Divorce is one thing, but marrying Zicheng's business rival? Come home immediately and kneel to apologize to Zicheng. We disown daughters like you. Return now, or we'll sever all ties. So, as they wished, I arrived with formal disownment papers in hand. Shen Ji-hung's assigned bodyguards followed close behind me. Mr. and Mrs. Su, just sign here, and our parent-child relationship ends permanently. After all, they were never truly my parents to begin with. Mother Su clutched her chest, wailing, "What sin?" While Father Su angrily signed the papers. You think marrying that Shun Juinheng makes you victorious? He's just the Shin family's bastard son. When you get bullied and thrown out, don't expect the Su family to take you back. Mommy's a traitor to the family. Lu Zai suddenly charged out with a toy gun, spraying imaginary bullets at me. I ignored him, signaling my bodyguard to confiscate the toy gun and toss it aside before turning to leave. His wailing sobs chased after me. On my wedding day, I wore my favorite mermaid dress. Before walking down the aisle, Shin Juinheng asked what was on my mind. I said, I used to genuinely want to be kind to everyone, but now I understand. Pleasing myself brings real happiness. Shin Juinheng nodded. When dealing with disgusting people, stop seeing them as human. After all, they don't act like humans anyway. I wholeheartedly agreed, feeling I'd found a kindred spirit. The wedding was grand, spectacular, and joyous, except when I was exhausted and asleep at midnight, only to be startled awake by a phone call. Su ran. I don't understand. Where exactly am I inferior to Shin Juinheng? The slurred voice on the line belonged to a drunken Lu Zicheng. Anyone but Shin Juinheng. What is he? He's nowhere near my league. I hung up without changing expression. My next encounter with Lu Zicheng would be at a business cocktail party. I held on to Shin Juinheng's arm while he held Su-hee's hand. It should have been such a harmonious scene. Yet, he deliberately came looking for trouble. Actually, I've always wanted to ask Director Shen, what tricks did you use to deceive Su Ran? Shin Juinheng simply smiled. Yuyist, Director Liu, we're legally married. Whether it was the word legally or married, something seemed to break his composure. He blurted out, heedless of the setting, then Director Shen must know how deeply in love we were for 5 years, and that we have an adorable son together. Director Liu, didn't you lose your memory? How do you remember it as love? Shin Juinheng chuckled. If she hadn't been truly unhappy, why would Ran have divorced you the moment you lost your memory? His fists clenched in fury. She was happy with me. How would you know I was happy? Didn't you lose your memory? I tilted my neck impatiently, just enough to reveal a faint red mark. After all, last night, well, let's just say someone's stamina was a bit too impressive. I barely slept. When Lu Zicheng saw it, his eyes burned crimson. Tired? Should we head back? Shin Juinheng asked me. Ran, he's tricking you. Don't you see? Director Liu. I turned and said icily, we're not that close. Kindly address me as Mrs. Shin. With that, I turned and walked away. Yet, at this moment, Lu Zicheng suddenly brushed aside Su-hee's attempts to stop him and charged forward, swinging his fist at Shin Juinheng. Shin Juinheng, you stole my wife. I'll kill you. The crowd erupted in gasps, instantly forming a circle around the two men. Of course, his feeble punch was easily caught by Shin Juinheng. In fact, Shin even twisted his arm into a pretzel. Amid Lu's howls of pain, I heard Shin Juinheng's amused voice. Rather than playing the romantic lead here, CEO Lu should worry about whether Lu Corporation survives the week. I decided Shin Juinheng was truly a good man. Even now, he remembered to warn his opponent. After the farce ended, Shin Juinheng and I drove home. I grew drowsy. He hesitated before speaking. Tonight. Not tonight. I cut him off decisively. I meant discussing the autumn launch plan tonight. He clarified. Work that I can do. My energy returned instantly. True, ours resembled a contract marriage, but we were adults. No prudish separate bedrooms for us. We maintained all conjugal routines, embracing and efficient, joyful partnership without emotional baggage. After that cocktail party, I didn't see Lu Zicheng again for a long time. 3 months later, the autumn launch was a resounding success, with Shun Jewelry capturing a larger market share than Lu's for the first time in October. Then, in November, Lu suddenly unveiled the Heartfelt Collection, helmed by their new chief designer Su-hee. The Heartfelt Collection was met with immediate acclaim, and Su-hee even appeared on television for an interview. She spoke eloquently to the camera. The Heartfelt Collection stems from my understanding of love. Its design philosophy represents two hearts intimately intertwined. I took one look and realized, wasn't this the draft design I'd casually sketched for some small foreign jeweler before marrying Lu Zicheng? Where on earth had she dug this up from? I called that small jeweler, who was utterly shocked and immediately initiated legal proceedings. A month later, the entire heartfelt collection was pulled from shelves as Luz became embroiled in a copyright lawsuit. Shen Jianheng, ever the philanthropist, generously lent the jeweler his most capable lawyer, free of charge. It was then that I received a call from Suhi's parents. Your sister's been ruined by your old trashy drafts. Why did you ever give her those designs? I was baffled. You'd better come testify in court and say you voluntarily let your sister use your work. I hung up without another word and promptly blocked their numbers. After this debacle, Luz suffered significant damage. Rumor had it Lu Ziqing was furious about Suhi's plagiarism, and the two entered a bitter Cold War, perhaps driven by insecurity. During one drunken gathering, he actually tried to take advantage of Lu Ziqing's intoxicated state, escorting him back to his room with the intention of getting pregnant. To avoid interruptions from Lu Zai, she casually handed Lu Ziqing's phone to the boy to play with. Little did she know, Lu Zai knew the passcode. Eager to play his CEO role-playing game, he accidentally opened a company-wide video conference. The live feed broadcasted everything: how she drugged Lu Ziqing, how desperately she tried to seduce him. The footage quickly spread across the internet, becoming both voyeuristic entertainment and dinner table gossip. When Lu Ziqing sobered up, he had a furious confrontation with Su He and severed all business ties with the Su family. In the following days, Shen Jianheng and I developed an almost telepathic synergy. Sometimes I'd merely glance up mid-sketch, and he'd already know to hand me water. Under our coordinated pressure, Lu Corporation soon began crumbling. Their core design team defected, other departments grew demoralized, and several major contracts slipped away. Another year passed. At the spring new product launch, I took the stage as Shen Group's chief designer to present my vision. This season's theme was self-joy. While people naturally pursue what they love, we believe jewelry should primarily bring happiness to the women who wear it. So we hope every woman adorned with Shen jewelry learns to love herself first and foremost. Never waste time on unworthy people or matters, and always believe you deserve better. Like myself, I once doubted, wandered in confusion, and suffered. But after remarrying, my husband treats me well, and I live happily. I hope every girl can bravely stride forward to seek her own happiness. The launch event was a success, with sales hitting a record high that very night. That evening, as I reclined with a glass of red wine, eyes closed to relax, Shen Jianheng suddenly swept me into his arms. Back already? I yawned. I opened my eyes to meet his blazing gaze. You did well at the launch. He tapped the tip of my nose. Obviously, after remarrying, your husband treats you well, and you live happily? I roll my eyes at him. What, can I praise you? He chuckled softly. Today, I suddenly thought. He settled me onto his lap. You shine too brightly. I'm tempted to lock you away, where only I can see you. What then? The long dormant system chose that moment to intervene. See? I told you, he's Yandra. He'll imprison you, monopolize you. You won't be happy with him. With a wave, I deducted 20 points and muted it again. The feelings mutual. I loosened his tie and began winding it around his wrists. System. How did I fail to notice such a man in my past life? Dangerous, yet captivating. Transparent, yet passionate. He's clearly far more intriguing than Lu Ziqing. Lost in thought, I suddenly felt the tie being snatched from my hands. When had he loosened it? You're truly disobedient, he murmured, raising the silk tie to blindfold me before brushing a kiss against my earlobe. But I like it that way. Lu Corporation's performance plummeted. Sui took to social media with tearful essays accusing Lu Ziqing of callously abandoning her. Lu Ziqing countered by denouncing Su He for deliberately seducing him post-divorce, ruining both his marriage and reputation. Their vitriolic feud played out across social platforms. Meanwhile, Su He's parents, left destitute after Su Group's collapse, doggedly harassed Lu Corporation daily, blaming Lu Ziqing for destroying their daughter's marriage and shirking responsibility. Driven to desperation, Lu Zicheng attempted escaping them by leaping from a second-floor balcony, only to fracture his leg in the fall. That night, I answered a call from an unknown number while half asleep. The slurred voice on the line kept repeating, Ran. I remember everything now. I regret it. Truly regret. Shin Juanheng stirred awake beside me. Who's calling at this hour? I hung up. Another spam call. A few days later, another call came through. It was Su He's mother. Ran, your birthday's coming up. Your father and I made your favorite dishes. Come home so we can celebrate as a family. Oh, and feel free to bring Juanheng along. I replied with icy detachment. Auntie, should I resend you the legal severance of parental ties? Then I ended the call. Shin Juanheng glanced at me. You've been getting a lot of nuisance calls lately. I sighed and blocked the number. Again, one day, as Shin Juanheng and I passed by Lu Zai's kindergarten, we saw him being bullied by older kids. Hey, isn't this the rich kid Lu Zai? What's he doing digging through trash? Lu Zai burst into loud sobs. My mom's rich. She married a wealthy man. Don't laugh at me. I'll tell her to beat you up. Should we intervene? Shin Juanheng asked. I shook my head. Let's go. Shin Corporation's jewelry business continued its meteoric rise. Then one day, PR flagged a live stream fraudulently selling counterfeit goods under Shin's brand. Just as I wondered who dare, the truth surfaced. Su, he managed the stream, with her parents as the hosts, were the parents of Su Ran, chief designer of Shin Jewelry. They've been using my childhood photos to swindle people, offering so-called internal prices to their followers. Shin Juanheng asked how I wanted to handle it. Full legal proceedings, compensation where due, sentencing where warranted, no settlements. Their live streaming room was shut down immediately, and our lawyers filed the lawsuit. Su Ran, how could you treat your own parents like this? Where's your conscience? Within days, Mr. and Mrs. Su showed up at Shin Jewelry's headquarters with Su Hehe, causing a scene. I couldn't be bothered to engage. Called the police straight away. Later, all three were detained for public disturbance, with lawsuits and compensation awaiting them. That evening, I acquired a fine bottle of red wine and arrived home before Shin Juanheng. Why are you hiding in the wardrobe? The system questioned, baffled, just playing around, giving him a little surprise. I gently shut the cabinet door. Aren't you two getting a bit wild? You weren't this kind of girl before. The system huffed. One more word and you're muted. Points aren't meant for this. It protested. Piss off. Just then, Shin Juanheng returned. I fell silent, peeking at him through the wardrobe crack. He removed his cufflinks, loosened his tie, and stood before the floor-to-ceiling window with his back to me. What? Entranced already? You're really that gone for him? The system teased with a click of its tongue. I was about to tell him to shut up when I suddenly heard Shin Juanheng speaking. I froze instantly because what he said was, System, am I about to succeed? I stood rooted to the spot. I couldn't hear his system's reply, but from his words alone, I understood. Shin Juanheng was also a strategist. Only his success condition was defeating the Lu family, Shin Corporation's rivals, and driving them into bankruptcy. System, did you know he was a strategist all along? Is that why you stopped me from targeting him? The system hemmed and hawed without answering. So that's how it was. In the original setup, Shin Juanheng and I were essentially locked in a zero-sum game. If I succeeded in winning over Lu Zicheng and building a happy life with him, our united efforts would likely prevent the Lu family's collapse. Conversely, if Shin Juanheng crushed the Lu family, Lu Zicheng's pride would never allow him to endure poverty with me. My mission would inevitably fail. But now, I flung the cabinet door open. Ran, Shin Juanheng whirled around. You. Meeting his startled gaze, I smiled and raised the bottle of red wine in my hand. I heard everything. Congratulations on your imminent success. Let me explain. He actually seemed flustered for once. No need, because I'm one too. What? He froze. I smiled. Tonight, we should have plenty to talk about. Shin Juanheng said that in his original world, his mother had been framed and forced into divorce. To ensure he received the best education, She worked multiple jobs until she succumbed to illness from exhaustion. After coming of age, he returned to the Shun family, wrestled control from his half-brothers, defeated all rivals to become the Shun conglomerate's leader, and finally sent his stepmother, who had orchestrated his mother's downfall, to prison. But the relentless struggle left him bedridden in a coma. Perhaps sensing my burning resentment, he said, the system approached me, asked if I'd become a strategist in this world. He turned abruptly, startled. Ran, why are you crying? I shook my head. It's nothing, just thinking about my own mother from that other life. Funny coincidence. I was raised by a single parent too. Mom sacrificed everything for me when I was young. Later, when she met someone new, I left so she wouldn't give up happiness for my sake. Haven't contacted her in years. She's probably living well now. I wiped my tears. Shen Juanheng set down his wine glass and pulled me into an embrace. Having you as her daughter must have been her greatest joy. Just then, his phone buzzed with a notification. The Lu Corporation has officially declared bankruptcy. Shen Juanheng, the conquest is complete. Shen Juanheng asked me what my conquest target was. I didn't tell him the truth. I'd actually already succeeded, but I thought this place was nice enough that I didn't plan to return. That's what I told him. The system expressed bewilderment. What good would telling him do? I smiled wryly. The fact that I haven't succeeded yet proves I'm not the most important person in his heart. This isn't something that can be achieved just because I say it and he pities me. If you told him, maybe it'd increase the odds a little. I shook my head. System, I no longer wish to beg anyone for love. A few days later, Shen Juanheng's system urged him to claim his reward and return to his original world. He came to discuss it with me. I agreed. I nodded. You've been here so long. If you don't go back soon, the empire you built with your life might change hands. I'm a bit worried about leaving you behind, he said, looking at me. What's there to worry about? I shrugged. You've handed this massive company to me. I'll never spend all this money in my lifetime. I should be overjoyed. Is this truly what you want? I nodded. Yes, absolutely certain. And so, he transferred the company to me and bought a plane ticket abroad. The day he left, a light rain fell from the sky. I didn't go to see him off. Once he's gone, your conquest will officially be declared a failure. The system whispered in my ear. See? I told you not to choose him. Nothing good comes of it, but you wouldn't listen. I laughed. System, you know what? This has been the most liberating period I've spent in this world. No need to simp for anyone. No need for others' approval. Just being myself without compromise. Taking revenge when I want. Indulging when I please. Honestly, totally worth it. The system sighed. I secretly checked the data. You were actually so close with Shen Juanheng. Should I petition to let you stay in this world? Though you'd need a new identity, and all your assets would be forfeited. Sure, thanks. I tilted my head back. The rain intensified. Damn, forgot my umbrella again. Whatever. Getting drenched feels good sometimes. It's not like I have much time left anyway. So I stayed on the park bench, face upturned, eyes closed, letting rainwater trace paths down my hair. Suddenly, an umbrella shielded me. I opened my eyes. The man who should have been on a plane stood before me, holding the umbrella. I stared blankly. How did you? Saw the rain before boarding. He crouched under the shared shelter. Knew you'd go out unprepared, so I turned back. See? Called it. I like getting rained on. I lied through my teeth. Won't you miss your flight? His eyes darkened unexpectedly. Ran, when I said I wanted you to belong only to me. I wasn't joking. He sat beside me and sighed. Today, watching this rain, just imagining someone else holding an umbrella for you in weather like this makes me want to stab that person. So, he patted my head. I'll stay and watch over you. I froze. What are you talking about? The things you fought tooth and nail for in that world. Your career. Everything. You just abandoned them all? Yes, he nodded. I'm letting it all go. Looking back now, those things don't seem so important after all. But none of that matters as much as seeing you. Have you lost your mind? I've always been a madman, he murmured, his fingers brushing lightly across my cheek. So tell me, Would you still choose to stay with this lunatic? Snap. The streetlights suddenly went out. In the darkness, cold lips pressed against mine. I was pulled into a tight embrace. Just then, an unfamiliar voice suddenly rang out from above. Congratulations, host. You successfully conquered the Yandere villain, both Shinju and Hung, and I can finally return home. We entrusted the Shin family affairs to his younger brother, who had just returned from abroad, then boarded the international flight together. On the world's final day, we embraced in the snowfield, watching the breathtaking aurora dance across the distant sky. As a shooting star streaked across the sky, a familiar voice emerged from the shimmering aurora. I am the main god of the system. Congratulations to both strategists. Next, I will activate the time tunnel to send you both back to your original world, where you will regain healthy bodies. As for you, Su-ran, since you chose a strategist as your target, doubling the challenge difficulty, you'll receive substantial bonus points upon success. What would you like to redeem? Main god, I gazed at the sky. I've always had one question. Speak. On the day of my rebirth, I heard your voice say I was granted this chance because I'd achieved the mid-game marriage milestone and exchanged valid points. But back then, I shouldn't have had any points. I need to know, where did the points that brought me back come from? The system's main god seemed to pause. It was your mother from your original world. It finally replied. Shortly after your coma, she never left your hospital bedside. When your existence here faced erasure, your original body suffered acute failure. She dreamed of your mission's failure and knelt begging to trade 10 years of her lifespan for your second chance. Tears erupted from me like a breached dam. Mom, it was Mom all along. The mother who'd never stopped loving me, never gave up on me. Then, can I convert all these points into returning her stolen years? My voice fractured. Certainly possible. This can extend your lifespan by 20 years. Beside me, Shinju and Hung held me tightly as I sobbed uncontrollably. Ran, let's go home. Let's go see Mom. That night, under a dazzling aurora, Shinju and Hung and I walked hand in hand back home. Doctor, quick, my daughter moved. She moved. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying on a hospital bed. At my side was my mother, who had been keeping vigil over me. Ran, it's Mom. I've been right here the whole time. Mom, I raised my hand, grasping her rough fingers, and smiled faintly. I'm back. She nodded frantically, tears streaming down her face. What followed was a series of medical examinations. A miracle, a genuine miracle. Her body shows no signs of damage whatsoever. The doctor marveled. A nurse nearby giggled. Told you our hospital has great feng shui. That CEO Shun in the VIP ward just woke up too. The richest man in our city? Exactly. They said he was beyond saving. Kept alive only by the ventilator. Then suddenly, he's fine. Though his mind seems a bit scrambled. Rumor is he ordered the Shin family to scour the city for someone named Su-ran. Or maybe Su-ran. Who knows if she's an enemy or what? Wait, who did you say was looking for whom? I asked, stunned. Miss Su, your name even rhymes. The nurse leaned in with a giggle. Word is that CEO Shun is quite terrifying. You wouldn't want to get mistakenly detained now. Where's the VIP ward? I urgently grabbed the nurse's arm. 16th floor. I leapt off the bed in an instant. Hey, Miss Su, your shoes. Riding the elevator, I dashed straight to the 16th floor. At the end of the hallway stood the VIP ward. I pushed the door open without hesitation. Yet all I witnessed was his bond with Su he deepening by the day. The hospital bed in the distance lay empty. Miss, are you? Someone approached to inquire. I might have the wrong room. She's Su-ran. A familiar voice suddenly spoke from behind. I whirled around. There, he stood, clad in a hospital gown, slightly thinner than before yet just as striking. Our eyes met, and we exchanged smiles. He stepped closer, pulling me into a tight embrace. Ran, he whispered in my ear. For the wedding dress here, do you still want the mermaid style?